What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ducks Dish podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres. We are hitting on some big recruiting news today for the Ducks in the 2023 class. I was kind of all over the place the past couple of days and haven't really been able to sink my teeth into this latest bit of news for the Ducks. And that is the addition of 2023 St. John's College High School cornerback Colin Gill. So I thought to myself, what better way to break down this news than to bring on the man himself? That is why we are joined today by 2023 Oregon cornerback commit Colin Gill. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us.
Nothing much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, really excited to kind of dive in here and learn a little bit more about you as a player, as a young man, and your journey through the recruiting process. So I figured an easy place to start, Colin, would just be, why was it Oregon?
Because it felt like home. Ever since I've been an Oregon fan since I was little. So ever since I stepped foot on that Oregon, it just felt like home.
Okay, yeah. So I know that you were out in Eugene, kind of right leading up to your commitment. Just tell us a little bit about what it was like to make that cross-country journey, be on campus, camp with the Ducks, all of that. Tell us about the trip.
Yeah, I've been on the West Coast a couple of times for other Pac-12 schools like Washington, Cal, Berkeley. So I know what it's like out there. It's a long from DC. It's not really a one-way flight, so it's 2 flights to Oregon. So it is a long trip, but I love it out there.
Okay, and when you were out in Eugene, what was the visit kind of like? What were you able to do? What did you learn about the program to ultimately make you comfortable enough to make that call?
So when I got out there, the first day I took an unofficial. So it took me around the campus. I talked to Coach Dan Lanning, Coach Todd, Coach Josh Lowboy, Coach Demetrius, and then the next day I worked. They worked me out. I ran the 40. I did a little camp, so they got to see me I got to see them close, and they got to see me play.
Okay, yeah. So you're getting a better feel for them as coaches and kind of what they bring to the table, what their system's kind of like, and then they're getting a feel for you a bit more as a young man and as a player. What I wanted to go to next, Colin, was just the recruiting process itself, because I feel like college football is kind of an ever-changing, ever-evolving game right now, and we know that the recruiting process, it's not just all of the glamour and all the hype. It can be a pretty stressful process for some people. So just walk us through kind of what it was like for you to go from getting those early offers to ultimately getting to where you are now, committing to Oregon.
Yeah, it was for me. This recruiting process was up and down because I got my first around this time. I got my first offer from the University of Washington, and I started to go up. And then during the season, after my second game, I got hurt. So that kind of hurt me a lot because I didn't have as much on film as I wanted to because I missed half the season. So like doing that fall to spring, my recruitment wasn't really going up. It was just staying still. So that was really stressful on me and my family because we were trying to find somewhere to commit. And then after that springtime, I started to visit more colleges in Oregon, and Oregon came up to our school. They local offered me, and so it went up, I guess, during springtime. But it was a really hard time after I got hurt.
Okay, yeah, I know a lot of people kind of they get hurt, and unfortunately, the case for some people is that schools kind of cool off, right? They don't want to take that risk, as far as the injury goes, but it really sounds like Oregon was kind of showing that faith and putting that faith in you through the process.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And kind of just another thing about the recruiting process, Colin, was you said earlier that you and your family were looking for a school to commit to. Why was now the right time for you to go ahead and make that call, find your next home as you get ready for your senior season?
The original plan, I always planned to commit on my dad's birthday. So I was trying to in the beginning of the year, I was trying to find any school that would let me commit because some schools were saying, as you said, it's the college recruitment process is getting crazy. The transfer portal is really the transfer portal is something. You know, it kind of hurt me a little for some schools to say I couldn't commit because they had transfers from other schools, so that really hurt. And when Oregon said I commit, yeah, I did as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah, didn't want to waste any time. Kind of wanted to lock in your spot. It sounds like.
Yeah,
And I think with you, Colin, one of the things that a lot of people have talked about, or I saw in your commitment video, was just the versatility that you bring to the table as a defensive back. Wanted to get a little bit of your insight on kind of how Coach Lanning and Coach Meat think that you're going to be fitting into that Oregon defense.
yeah. I had a meeting with Coach Lanning, Coach Powers, Coach Demetrius, saying that how my versatility will likely put me at the nickel spot because I can play corner, I can play safety, I can cover, I can come down and tackle. So my versatility is probably the best position for me. They said is at the nickel spot. I'm not only going to play that position. They're going to have me around the corner and safety too, but probably the main position I'm going to play is nickel or that star position.
Okay, so we'll get to be seeing it a little bit all over the field once you get to Eugene. And I think a cool aspect of the versatility with you is that I think a big part of that is probably due to your athletic background, right? You've played a bunch of different sports growing up, whether it be football, I think you said swimming, gymnastics, baseball, you name it, you've tried it. Where does that kind of just overall love for sports kind of come from? Tell us about that.
I think it came from my parents. You know, my mom, she ran track. She ran track. My dad, he played football in high school and then was on a golf scholarship. My older sibling played basketball. Basically, my family's a really big sports family. We all play some type of sport. So it
Okay.
just my mom wanted me to do everything, to try out everything, see what I love.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach to take because every sport kind of offers you a unique perspective and you can kind of have fun with it in different ways. I grew up playing a lot of baseball, and then once it wasn't even until I got to high school where football really kind of emerged as my favorite sport. So I definitely see where you're coming from, why it's good to kind of cast a bit of a wide net. Real quick, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to hop back into our interview with Colin Gill, learn a little bit about him, outside of football and some of his upbringing in the DC area. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, we're back on the Duck Stage podcast. I'm your host, Max Torres. Big thank you to everyone who is watching us live on YouTube at Oregon Football Max Torres. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the channel for more Oregon Ducks news and recruiting coverage in particular. So we're talking with Colin Gill, the new 2023 commit for Oregon. And what I wanted to ask you, man, was just what was it like kind of, in your childhood, growing up in the Washington, D.C. area for maybe people who aren't super familiar with it?
For me, I was born in New Jersey, then moved to the Washington D.C. area when I was about 3. I grew up mostly in Maryland though, but I went to school. My St. John's is in D.C. So I grew up first. I mean, the first sport I ever played was soccer. I think then basketball, then football. But I played football when I was 3. That's the first time I ever played football was the flag football team. But I wasn't really supposed to be on the team because they were just 4 to 5 years old. So it's I guess ever since that, I've been playing football. Actually, it was funny because when I was younger, I think about 9 years old, I had to choose between gymnastics or football because I was really good at gymnastics. And our football mom was like, you have to pick between because both you can't do both. It'll take up all your time. You're not going to be able to do both. So I chose football then, and then I've been playing ever since. Ever since that. Also, I had actually was pretty good at baseball too. I was hoping to play baseball in high school, but I couldn't because baseball actually practice at my high school. They practice more than football, so that was the one thing I couldn't do. Yeah, and then in eighth grade, my eighth grade year, I think my eighth grade year really changed everything because I couldn't play because I had arthritis in my knee. Eighth grade, so I was out all season. And my coach, that's when, because I was playing linebacker my whole every year that I played football, I played linebacker until my eighth grade year, where my youth ball coach told me it's better if you switch to DB because of my size. I wasn't really that big. I wasn't that big back then. And ever since that, it's been going up.
Okay, so originally a linebacker, now playing in that defensive secondary. How do you think some of those skills as a linebacker have maybe translated over to playing in the secondary now? I mean, just maybe you can kind of describe your play style for us a bit.
Oh yeah, so I'm definitely a come down and hit type of guy. I can definitely cover, but I don't think many people know that. Or I can come up and work in the run game also.
Okay, so a do-it-all defensive back is good. I was watching some of your film, and you definitely pop off the tape just with some of the hits that you lay on people, which is something that you want in a safety, right? Roman in the backfield in the secondary. Let's talk a little bit more about the Washington D.C. football scene because I think that not a whole lot of people know about it too much nationally. You have yourself coming out, and now you're committed to Oregon, and you have guys like Caleb Williams, who's at USC now. He was at Gonzaga in the DC area. Raheem Jarrett, who was at St. John's College High School. Now he's with the Terps at Maryland. What's that scene kind of like, and how did it help you get to where you are now?
I think the DMV area or the DC Maryland Virginia is really underrated. I feel like we have the best football in the country. You know, our the WCAC conference, the conference that I play in, is the second best conference in the nation. And I feel like we're very underrated. People need to come see us more. We have like the best. I believe we have the best players in the country.
Yeah, I think because they got a real was it Tony Grimes who's at UNC? Isn't
Yeah,
he from the DMV?
yeah, he's from
He
Virginia.
Okay, yeah, so he's a big time prospect, and there's definitely a wealth of talent. I mean, DeMatha is another big school in that area, if that's sounding right. So yeah, there's definitely some big time college football recruits in that area that are making their way more across the blueprint, or across the country rather. But just had a couple more questions for you. Don't want to take too much of your time. I know that with you playing football for as long as you have, you talked about that decision to choose football over gymnastics. How did football kind of make you into the man that you are today, Colin?
Really, just how the game was played. That never give up mentality, that teamwork mentality. The grind. It really taught me how to grind. I've never ever since I played football, I've worked hard all my life. I've never given up on anything. Even if I fail, I just get back up again. That's what football taught me. Always taught me.
Yeah, it definitely teaches you that perseverance part of your life that comes in handy quite a bit. But for you off the field, I kind of just wanted to get a better feel for you as a person. What kind of off the field interests do you have? Do you have any idea of what you want to major in? Just kind of wanted to get a better feel there.
So actually, I have a business off the field. I'm at a business event right now. It's called FB Candle. We're a candle business. Me and my brothers do it. So we started about 5 years ago, and we started because we wanted to buy video games and toys. My mom said no, she said get a job and start a business. And ever since then, it's gone on. We've been on Good Morning America. Our products are in Target, Whole Foods, and also we're in a store in Japan too. So we're in over like 300 stores across the nation.
Wow, that's really unique. Okay, so originally got into the candle business to get video games. I can definitely relate to that. Wanting to get a game as a kid, and your parents like, well, no, they're super expensive today. A new game's like
Yeah.
$60. So why candles? I just feel like that's such a niche specific area.
So we were looking up the most successful kids businesses, and then it was candles, bath bombs, and other stuff. And we chose candles, and also one of the favorite things my mom likes to buy is candles. So that kind of converted to the business.
Oh, it's a win-win then because you get to make your
Yeah,
mom happy.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then another question that I had was just kind of big picture goals for you. Any kind of thing that comes to mind, whether it be football, school, the candle business. Because now that you have this decision made, I imagine that's a pretty big weight off your back. But now you're still looking forward.
Yeah, my goals are graduate 3 years, get to the league, and make my candle business $1 billion business.
All right, that's awesome. Those are some pretty good specific goals. We got a question from a viewer here that I thought would be kind of fun. Christopher's asking, who would you rather play like, John Boyette or T.J. Ward? Two great Oregon safeties. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. Maybe if you
Uh,
are, you could talk about them or your play style, like kind of who you like to mold your game after.
I think maybe. Oh, that's hard too. because I looked at them when I was like really young, when I was really into Oregon. Um, that's not a choice. Maybe John Boyette. I like when I used to look at when I was young. I used to look at every DB side like so. I really like his highlight, John Boyette.
All right, John Boy. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a throwback DB for the Ducks. Before I get you out of here, Colin, I want to give you a chance to plug your business. Like, let us know where we can get all our candle needs, and then any kind of social media you wanted to share where people can find more of you.
Yeah, so for my business, the website is fbcandle.com. The candles no S, and for socials is C_Gill_ or C_Gill 2K for Instagram, and Colin Gill for Twitter.
All right, there you go. Well, that is Colin Gill, the newest commit for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks in the 2023 recruiting class out of St. John's College High School in the Washington, D.C. area. Big thank you to Colin for coming on the show today. And if you guys want to find more of me, you can find me on Twitter at mtorresports, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Oregon Football Max Torres. But that'll do it for us here on the Ducks Dish podcast. Do us a big favor and go like and share the podcast with friends, family, Duck fans, just trying to grow the community. But big thank you to Colin, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Take care.
Thank you.